What is happening, my friend? Thank you for tuning in. What is happening out there, my friends in YouTube land? Yours truly, Rockin' Dave, the real deal, North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. And today I thought I'd bust out old truly, old faithful, the BC Rich Warlock. Neck through series with the Roland GK2 pickup that came with the Roland GR33 synth. But it works on the GR55 synth. But right now I don't have it plugged into any of those synths because I got the guitar going into the SY, the Boss SY synth, where you don't need the 13-pin cord. You could go just with this. However, there is a difference, and I will start putting some of those videos together because I want to definitely resurrect using this a lot more because of the coolness, the uniqueness of it, neck through. When I want a clean sound, since these are what they call weak pickups, when you crank it, I get a killer sound. When I need a clean sound, I get a killer sound. So I like it, so why should I change it, right? But when I combine the GR55 synth that I use this, this pickup with, in combination with the SY1, now I could get really interesting, more options. And when I don't want to use any of them, I just turn them off and just use what I, plug them right into. So I hope everyone's doing well. I'll probably only stay on until about maybe, buckle up to what's happening, my friend. Yeah, probably be until maybe no later than 12:30. Every time I see you and others go extreme with the whammy bar, I fight the urge to buy one with a Floyd. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm gonna be very honest, Dale. I was not in the beginning. Yeah, I thought, wow, what a cool concept. And then when you go to change strings, what a pain in the ass, right? I found a way of changing strings with these things that kind of work. Now, there's options if you take all the strings off, because a lot of these guitars nowadays will have a cavity, and as soon as you take the strings off, the bridge wants to do this, boom, drop down into that cavity. So you could probably take, maybe a rag across the back, and then take maybe a pencil or something that will go across. And the reason why I say use a rag, because you want to put the pencil on the rag, right? And then it'll hold that braced up, because then that's really that's really a good way, because then what it'll do is it'll force the bridge upward, so that it's even easier to get to the little locks back here. If you do it string by string, you'll still have, every time you take off a string, you'll still have the tension of the other strings kind of holding it, But the advantage of taking all the strings off is that you could really clean the fretboard really good and get in between the pickups and all this, that, and the other, and if you want to clean inside the saddles and that's great. So what I started to really like a lot about the Floyd Rose system, I like doing the whammy tricks and this, that, and the other, and it's been pretty reliable for me. But for one thing I have noticed is that these are the only guitars, even if I don't use the whammy system, they're the only guitars, this and the two Ibanez. I can't remember if I got anything else with a Floyd or Lope or Edge system. But any any of these guitars with this type of a system, it locks the string into the saddle, Dale. So this is why I won't have string breakage. And I've got the string savers, and they will work for a little bit of time, but eventually, my theory on all of this is the ball end of the string. If you go through the through the body of the guitar, where the actual string sits on the saddle, the ball end is down here. You got about that much of a distance for wiggle room, and even on the Les Paul, wiggle room. And I mean, it'll last. I'm not saying it won't last, but it will not last as long. Trust me. And Deb could tell you at a time I'm playing the show and pop the string. Do another show, boom, pop the string. And I change my strings. I do everything possible that I possibly could do, other than putting a string through. Wire insulation. When you get wire, just cut the wire and then pull that insulation out of the wire and run the string through that and have that sit on the saddle. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jeff Beck or somebody had talked about doing that. My only problem is it's not, you could get like a muffled sound, maybe. I don't know. I never tried it. But I can tell you what does work. And I've got a very strong picking hand, and even with my rhythms, I've never, very seldom have I ever broken a string with this. And again, the theory is you got about that much string distance sitting in that saddle. It's a hard 90, but it's locked in. There's no wiggle. And because of that, I really think that's the reason. And I have not heard anyone on YouTube, debate that. And I don't care if they do, and if they prove me wrong, if they come up with a solution, that's great. I mean, that would be fantastic because it's a situation. Or if I just start just playing all legato, then yeah, I probably won't break the strings, but that's really not my style, So, again, I tried light picks, I tried heavy picks, I tried heavy strings, I tried light strings, you name it, I tried it. This is the only thing that works. So, gotta give kudos to Floyd. It'd be really cool if he could come up with something like, let's say, for the little telly here, because sometimes it'll break strings. Not really too bad, and it's very easy to change this because there's nothing stopping within that. Like on some of these inexpensive guitars, let's say you got a Strat style like this, and you got the bridge, and maybe that bar that's inside, it's kind of hollow. So when you feed the string in, you don't know where that string is going inside. Been there, done that, so I know. But let me get back to what I was just saying. It'd be really cool if Floyd could come up with just these type of saddles that are universally fit that would lock, and where you could still adjust from here, and maybe you could come with a screw on the top that'll lock it, and instead of having a square push up against the string, have it where what pushes up against the string obviously would be flat like on these. But since you have the screw that's going to tighten that, have it on an angle, have it like a square that would come bevel down. So it'll almost be like an offset triangle. So that screw is pushing. So if you did something like this, here is where the string is going to, the saddle's going to lock up against. So here's the little thing the little locking thing. This will be like up and then L, and then up on an angle. So the screw, when it pushes, it's going to automatically slide that up against that stopping point and lock it in. Because I'm telling you, I don't have any problems breaking strings on these. Oh, maybe I should talk with Floyd. What's he do? Get out of here. I don't know who you are. Okay. I'll continue doing what I need to do. You know what I mean? But that's the concept. Otherwise, yeah, these can be a pain when you change the strings. But see, depends on how you use it. You gotta think about that too. So really quick, because I took the picture of this, give you an update with this. This thing really does work. This is your wireless. It's X5. That is your receiver. That's what clips on your belt, and that is your transmitter, and these are wireless, or as well, but these are the Shure head in ear buds. These were 99 bucks. These were the cheapest we could find. This I think was 236 bucks for this because they come together. What is cool with this? Here is, let me see if I got this right. Yeah, this right there is your volume. And that's your channel selector, and that's your channel selector. Uh-oh.
Oh, there's a gecko in the house.
Uh-oh.
There's a gecko in the house.
I gotta attend to Deb. Hold on.
Oh, he's on the move.
Where is he?
He's over by the bag. I just took it off the lid. With the bag, you'll see him.
Oh, he's in the bed.
He's in the bag. Oh, good. Take him outside. Don't kill him.
No, 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 no.
Sorry, guys. A little baby gecko got in the house, and he scared me. Dave's taking him outside right now.
He is gone. All right, guys. So where was it? Oh, so yeah, let me talk about this. Yeah, a little gecko got in the house. Very common down here. So, yeah, that's so you do have the volume. Of course, actually, I could show you. We got the earbuds. They come in a little package like this for the earbuds, which is great. I'm not going to take them. Well, maybe I can take them out because I do kind of have them wired up. And you get extra. You get these little extra little buds there. What is cool is that these will rotate. So, you know, if you need to adjust something, it does take a while to get used to. See, I've never worn earbuds, so they don't really stay in my head too much. I got to get used to them. So, but even if one falls out, it's still a good, clear sound that I hear, which is great. Now, let me grab this, guys. Let me do this. Sorry about this. And this comes in a little pouch. I mean, the thing's real small, but it's real. What's real cool, guys, it's metal. It is a metal casing. You will get the power cord. You just have to buy the little adapter that plugs it into the wall, or you could still plug it into another computer. That'll charge it up, or a cigarette lighter. Whoever smokes, I don't. Never did. But it is a nice metal casing, and this clip is very strong. Very, very strong. Which is great, because when you're performing, you want something to pop, and all of a sudden it falls on the ground. There is your on-off switch. That's where your headphones plug in. That's your channel selector. That's your volume. And what I like about this, it is not loose. It's a nice, firm turn, and it's grooved. Let me see if I could you see that, guys? Let me see. You can see how it's grooved. See? What's great with that, if your skin gets a little dry fingers, you know, it's a little cool outside, you can still grab it. That's brilliant. I always think, the only thing is, look how tiny the lettering is, but, you know, it's a small package. You got to expect that. At least the V on the volume is very big. You can't miss that. And then what's really cool, here is your receiver. Okay? And it will go, it's got a female XLR. And you might say, well, how am I going to plug this in? Like when we do it, we plug this in our headphone jack on our mixing board. We all know headphone jacks don't have that, right? It comes with, that's your charging USB cord. But what is really cool, it does come with an adapter. And again, this is metal. It's all metal casing. Let me close this door. It is an all metal casing, which is great. So it's not going to break. And of course, here is the 1/4 inch to male XLR. Pops together, which is a great thing. You know, just it's got a little groove there. You just pop this in, line it up, and you know when it's stiff, but that's okay. You know, just pop in like if you have the back, let's say whatever power amp, whatever you use, and it has got an output, it'll send that signal. Or let's say you have one of the PA heads, and the headphone is like this, it'll pop in like that. Or if you just got a regular mixing board, it'll pop in like that. Just make sure this is out of any type of traffic, because some people could knock things over. Now we did experience when I was playing a little bit of a dropout, and what I mean by that is what happened was it just completely cut out, and we had it fully charged. And by the way, when you charge this, keep the power off because you could damage the battery. That's what one of the guys said, that you could damage the batteries in here. So you have to turn the power off. So the solution was we just turned it to another channel, and then boom, it came back on. Now there's a guy. His name is Perfecto De Castro. Great guitar player. He's a great rock, great shredder guitar player, but a superb classical guitarist. He was talking about this at one of the gigs, at one of his live gigs, and he said you could get interference with Wi-Fi. So what you might want to do is, besides change the channel, change the position where you have it. So if this is too close to something with Wi-Fi, or in my case, I got a funny feeling how we had this set up was our mixer. I was standing here with the in-ears. The PA speaker was here. The mixer was here. So you had the PA speaker kind of blocking, and then since it's a device, it could have interference, did a little interference. So tomorrow, or I mean, when next gig, what we'll do, thank you, sweetie, I appreciate it, thank you. Is what we'll do is just rearrange where I'm standing in relation with the mixer and then the PA speaker, and then see if that helps. Now, I will say this: this is my first time using an in-ear system, so I cannot tell you which is better. Obviously, these two together, the earbuds and the system, was under $400, so you're gonna get what you pay for. It will go a 90-foot radius, which is great, and if you're playing smaller gigs where you just really need to hear yourself, it's clear. It's very, very clear. Do not expect to have the low bass without messing with the EQ. I'm sure the really expensive ones will already have that high fidelity, maybe low bass. There is a guy that plays electric violin, and he was reviewing the Proco wireless system, like the company that makes the Proco Rat. Well, they also make a wireless in-ear system, and he said, it sounded pretty good. The ones that him and his band use, I don't know what brand it is, and it's probably much bigger than this. The receiver and the transmitter alone was $1,500, and he had custom earbuds that were $1,000. So you're talking $2,500. So obviously those are going to have a better sound if you're looking for that. But what I could tell you from my experience using this so far, this was very clear, very, very clear, and that's really what I need, because sometimes I'm playing in these places where they want me to bring the volume down, and I'm here, and I'll put it this way, I'm here, and my speaker's actually a little bit before me. I could see the side of it, so the actual speaker is facing that way, and if a lot of people are talking, their voices are carrying over, and the sound's going that way, but their voices are coming this way, and it makes it very, challenging to hear. So that's when we dropped and got these. And it really did solve a problem. It really did help. So if you find yourself in that situation, you could check these out. It's a company called X5. This is called a U4. U4. I don't know what. Yeah, the guitar wireless is called U2. See that? U2. This is U4 on the bottom there, by my thumb. and you order from Sweetwater. That's what we did. And you know, what as more gigs that we're doing using this, I'll be able to say, yeah, it's if you want to spend your money on this, or if you want to spend your money on something else, it's your money. You do what you want. Now, playing live, it does get used. How can I say this? Because see, if I were to play with a full band again, I probably would have maybe a hard time with this because I'm so used to the sound right there. And I saw a video of John Petrucci on one of the G3 concerts. He was talking about that. So sometimes he'll take one ear out, so he gets the in ear, the direct signal, but plus he gets the ambient symbol because that's what a lot of us are used to. However, I'm kind of like on the fence with that because I am used to that, but I'm also used to the headphones because of all the home recording I've done and working in recording studios with the headphones on. And when I practice all my picking exercises and that, I don't plug the guitar in. I'll put headphones on and then just go over things. So I did get used to that. So if you're used to wearing headphones a lot, this will be easy. It's just something you gotta get used to. But if you're out there playing, yeah, they do work. And like I said, because it's a metal casing, it's not going to get destroyed so much. Like I said, the headphones, they're Shure. So I'm sure it'll be all right. Shure products have always been good, like the SM58s, SM57s. I know there's other companies that have their claim to fame, this, that, and the other. I'm not going to go there with that. But what I will say is, since 1987, 86, dealing with Shure mics in bands, I'm telling you, man, you could drop them and they're workhorses. So that's why a lot of times they become the industry standard because of their reliability. Because see, when you get to doing these gigs, a product could say it does this, that, and the other, but if it's taking a while to get it up and going, you're losing time. And if you take it like the old construction days on the job site, the more time you lose, the more money you're gonna lose. But a gig, it's a little different. It's being creative, so it messes with everything, man. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot more with the BC Rich and the Charlie. The Charlie is a great guitar, man, because for certain things that I'm doing down here at these clubs, that sound it works. And it's an inexpensive guitar. I'm not going to have a stroke, but I do like it. I'll tell you, I'm surprised. I'm really shocked. I think if there was one more guitar that if I had a choice to get, I do like the semi-hollow jazz and the full jazz guitars. I do like that. But it's crazy for some people. I do like the Jackson Kelly. That shape. Yeah, I know their newer one. It's a neck through black, gold hardware with the cream colored pickups. Pretty badass. I do like that design. So most likely I'll grab something like that, because I do like it. But I wanted to talk real quick because I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna be on, but maybe no more than a half hour. Old Man Dan had a video, and I agree with what he was saying, pertaining to. Let's see if I got. Yeah. Some use enough playing cards for best thickness to wedge. Yeah, they do. You know what? That's right. Really, if you think about it, Dale, anything that's going to work to hold that up to make it simple to change the strings. But the best thing to do. The best thing to do is when you're doing research on what systems work, and for my situation, my biggest issue is string breakage. Even if I'm playing those funk rhythms on an upstroke, boom. And it's not that I'm hitting it too hard. Maybe I am, I just don't realize it. But no matter what I do, it happens. Because it's metal rubbing against metal. And, I guess it's always been like that. Although I can't remember it, but who knows? So long ago, since the late 70s and the early 80s and all that. But for my advice, if someone were to say, man, Dave, I tried everything. I hear you. I got the same situation. What should I do? Guitar with a Floyd has not giving me any of those issues, you know. And there's a way you could put a block in the cavity of the guitar so the bridge can't move if you wanted to. If you could only go down, not up. There's little tricks there. But it'd be nice if Floyd could just make something that could just lock the strings. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, man, they'd have to develop it maybe on a newer style of a Les Paul where it just locks in. You know what I mean? Because that, like I said, man, it's a killjoy. Let's see. Yeah, they do, because I do have a set of roller saddles. I have two sets. One, maybe I could give them. I got one on the Les Paul. One on this guitar. This is a custom. This is a custom-made guitar by a company that did unfortunately go out of business, Camelot Guitars, and obviously you could see it's a beautiful bird's eye maple neck, fretboard and neck, alder body, but there are the roller saddles. If you could see those, see that? Those are rollers. That, and I guess I'll bust out the Les Paul. Why not? I'm not gonna plug it in because I gotta get ready. But I still have my original bridge, but this bridge is specifically for Gibson guitars, USA made Gibsons. Tone Pros. They do help. So you can see that. They really do help. Now, this really has a beautiful sound. It gives me everything in one. You know, as I need it, I got it there with the out of phase, with the coil tapping, or with just straight humbuckers. I got it here, which is great. But you know, when I'm doing these outdoor gigs, I don't want to sweat so bad and destroy it. You know, over the course of time, it gets worse, because it gets really hot down here sometimes, man. Well, since it's on the summertime, that's just how it is. It's Florida. But it gets equally hot up in the Midwest too, or like where Joe Wentz is at, South Carolina. Anywhere where you're inland and it's just the humidity is really, really high. It starts doing a lot of. It takes its toll on these guitars. It really does. But other than that, the ones that last the longest for me, again, seems to be the Floyd system. You know? So, there's Sonia. What's happening, Sonia? Yeah, Deb came in to give me a little, what do you call it? Smoothie drink. She takes a lot of the berries and strawberries and that mixes it all up. You know, try to eat healthy and drink healthy, you know? I was like, the guest in the house was, yeah, I was there. A little get-go. You heard that. It's Florida. Joe Wentz, what's happening, brother? Hey, Joe, I really do like that Zoom G6. And, you know, when you mentioned it in your video, I do remember when Zoom came out with that little belt buckle, the processor. I did not have that one. I had one by, oh my God, I can't remember the name. It was a little gray. It was supposed to mimic the Rockman, the Schultz Rockman. But what I did have from Zoom was it was called one of their first floor pedals. It was called the 2020. And it worked great. But, you know, the pedals are plastic and everything. Over the course of time, plastic breaks. And then I had a Zoom 2100 and the 1-foot switch. Over time, plastic, it would get stuck. And that. But yeah, Zoom, they make great stuff. And I'll tell you what, with that G6, you have the option to put in an SD card, onboard drum machine. There's a lot you could do with it when you need that. Man, just trust me, I was like that close pulling the trigger, but they didn't have it in stock. And then when I overlooked the ME80 because, you know, it's like, oh, that's old and blah, blah this and blah, blah that. And then I saw a couple of videos with people playing and I thought, wait a minute, let me see, do a little bit more investigating. And you know when they do the close-up on the pedals and you got 2 EQs plus you got all these modulating effects, you could mix 2 modulating effects with the ME80 or 3 delays if you want. the foot switches do not have a little line that connects two switches together. So in a live performance, if you accidentally step on them, now you're going to activate a looper. And I've had stuff like that happen with me before. And then of course you can slap batteries in, and I start to think, and it's got knobs. It's you see it, it's right there. Nothing can be moved. Nothing can disappear. For these outdoor gigs, and when I'm doing it out, and that sun is just hitting those screens, it's like, man, I'm wondering if it's cooking those electronics in there. And if that screen goes, I can't see what anything says because it's not printed on the chassis. So I started doing a little bit of thinking. I thought, you know what? For my situation, I better look what is going to be doable for me because, if I was just going to do it in the studio, a lot of that stuff, man, I grab it in a heartbeat because it does sound great. But when you take it out here, man, you got to be careful. Just remember, if you could do any type of gigging outdoors and you got nothing but a screen and the knobs you have a few knobs, but they're not labeled because those knobs could do many functions. If you have to rely on that screen and that screen goes out and you're in the middle of a gig, see, it just happens always in the middle of a gig, or at least for me it does. What are you going to do? Do you really know that piece of gear that well so you can get in and say, okay, I can hit this switch, now I'm back to my program? Or if it's got a million functions and now you got to start to scroll and you don't know how fast when you hold down that menu button and it starts scrolling really fast, where is it going to stop? Because your screen went out, you don't know where it's going to stop. This is what I mean. So I start to go back to just knobs. Anything that's got a knob and a label on it, painted, you can't take it off. It is what it is. Because I know if something happens, I can see exactly what knob to turn, and I don't have an issue. That's why when we bought the QSC speaker, they got the newest edition. It's called the K2.0 or 0.1. On the back of that PA speaker is a screen. You do have like a couple of dials, but you have to rely on the screen to give you all your parameters. And then when you power it up, it's like takes about 5 to 6 seconds to power up. Not really too big of an issue there. But it's the screen. Everything's on that screen. And you got the speaker up. A lot of times it will be up. Sometimes I like to wedge mine or just have it upright. But if you're doing anything outdoors and you're playing, and this is a reality, we're playing 3 to 4 hours, and that, the sun doesn't stay in one spot. It's going to move, right? Or Earth is moving. It's not flat after all. It moves. It's round. So by the time in the afternoon, if you're in a situation where that hot sun is cooking that screen to the point where you can't even see, and I've had this happen, you got to go like this. You can't find anything. You got to adjust something. It's too loud. These people are paying you good money and they're tipping good, but now you got to go like this and that. It's a waste of time. It is a waste of time. That's why we got, it's called the CP or CU, whatever it is, QSC speaker. Because it's a knob. It's painted right there. This is that. You turn the knob. That is that. That is that. You can clearly see it. If the moon and the stars fall out of the sky, you could still clearly see where you need to go. And that's where you're going to find out when you're doing these performances, what some of the stuff, it's great. It is absolutely great. And if a person, because I mean, some of that stuff I do like. It's not that I don't like it, but I got to start thinking practicality, because again, our situation is different and everyone's situation will be different. So that's what you got to really think about, And, again, it's people's money. They do what they want. Now, let's see. Yeah, South Florida lizards, yeah. Frogs, snakes, gators, mosquitoes, big bugs, pimento bugs. You know what a pimento bug is? It's a big, giant cockroach. I kid you not. It's about that big. That sucker will fit the whole length of your hand. They're ugly. They're really kind of harmless, And it's not like they're in droves like regular cockroaches. They'll get in. The only time they get in if we're having like really bad storms and they find a way to get in just to get shelter. But trust me, they want to get out of here as fast as they got in. They just don't know how. That's how it is. But I'll tell you, when you step on them, they crunch, man, because they're so big, And of course, the cats, they sense if anything's there. I think that, see, all these little critters, they sense the cats that are in here. They don't want anything to do with them. The geckos, what's really cool is they'll grab those little bugs that's out there. And then we got these little weird bugs called no-see-ums, because they're called no-see-ums because you really don't see them. And all of a sudden, man, you got bit, but you don't see anything. And next thing you know, scratching. And, you know, I think Joe went in South Carolina. You got some of this stuff. I think Jim Guidry has some of these. I know he's got gators in Louisiana. You know, it's part of the South. You're getting where the weather's really warm. It's really tropical, and you know things grow pretty pretty good down here. Yeah, everyone's saying hi to each other, which is great, man. Yeah, I see how in-ears can help a lot. And playing live, yeah. You know, it's how much did that system cost? Joe, this right here was like $236, I think. And then these, you got to buy the headphones separate. Earbuds, these were the cheapest, $99. So with the tax, a little over like $360 through Sweetwater. And so far, man, they do work good. You know, you're gonna have people's opinions on this, that, and the other, and you know, everyone's welcome to have their opinion. That's don't say anything bad about that. But you have to start looking at if you're gonna buy something for a specific situation you're in. Those are the videos you're gonna have to really look at, because those people that put those videos up, they're as close to what you're doing as possible. And then you still might have to say, okay, I got an idea, but I need to hear it now what I'm going to use it for. So you always got to take that in consideration. Let's see. I forgot. Yeah, I have that same guitar. Well, yeah, it works great, Joe. I'll tell you what. You know what I like about this? Here's the thing I like about this. As opposed to, was it the Line 6 and I think even the Boss? I'm going to give you a really good, quick. This does this. Now look how you have to, it doesn't just fall. It does this. It does this. Why is that important? For me, when I'm doing rocking out and I throw the guitar, I could put this in the guitar, put this up against the body. Now, later on, I am thinking about maybe getting a little Velcro so I kind of stick it in. And when I throw the guitar, it's not going to go flying all over the place. The only other, I mean, it will have its limitation of its distance, but, you know, you don't have to really go too far. But we do still have our Sennheiser wireless. And that sucker was almost $1,000. And, dude, that's set for, like, arenas, if you do arenas. That thing's badass, man. That thing's badass. When we were still, one of the shows, I think say last shows we did using that outdoors was in Addison, Illinois, suburb of Chicago. This huge parking lot. I don't know how far I went, but I could tell you what, man. If they were stuck at, if it was arena size, it was arena size distance, and no dropouts, no latencies. Cars were passing by, you know, in the park. No latencies, man. The signal was strong. It was like, whoa. But you see, you're paying, you know, for that. Now you could still change the channel, but see, when FCC takes over a certain channel, man, they boot you out. Because that happened to me at a live show. Doing a show with my good friend Kevin M. Buck. He's a great shredder guitar player from Chicago. I think he still plays in Blizzard of Oz, which is an Ozzy tribute band, and once in a while he plays with a Metallica tribute band. But on his own, man, he's great. He's great at anything, but his own stuff is great. So, did a show with him, a guy named Light and Moon, and then Joe Stump. And Joe Stump right now, he recorded one of Alcatraz's new album. And Joe Stump is a professor over at Berklee College of Music. He's like Yngwie, but, I mean, man, Joe's great, man. Very approachable guy, too. He's not egotistical or anything, because when we got to that gig, he was already there warming up. There was him, the bartender, and someone else, and that's it. And Deb and I, we always try to get to the gigs early, and he was, warming up, talking with him a little bit, really, really down to earth. And he really liked the fact that during that show I was playing classical, I did a classical guitar piece, and he was definitely impressed by that. And I didn't do it to impress him, I did it because I like to play that. So, but at that gig, we got two Sennheiser guitar wireless. The first one, I thought I was having a problem with my output on my guitar. And it wasn't. It was FCC was shutting that channel down. And I'm like, okay. And we missed by a few days, we missed the email that Sennheiser sent out stating that on this system, we'll give you a $50 rebate if you want to buy a new wireless, because FCC's they're changing, they're taking over this bandwidth, and that bandwidth for that system was the strongest. So it happens, man. Yeah, I have the X5 wireless microphone system that works well for the money. Yeah, Dale. See, it's not real expensive. And you gotta say, okay, are you playing big arenas or are you playing in smaller clubs? And if it's gonna work for you for your budget, then it works. I always say this: if you could turn a $200 project, a $200 piece of gear, into, let's say, a four, five, six, $800 profit, you win. You win. Because no one really cares except the musicians. You're gonna care by the money. Oh, I think the kitty got in. This guy's something else, man. He knows how to open up that door over there. But again, it's everyone's money. They do what they want. You know. So all I gotta do is, yeah. Let's see if Regan is watching the chat. Yeah, here I am, Dave. You have now won a brand new iPhone as about. Joe, I appreciate that, man. I want you to sign it though, man. Yeah, you know what? This phone is weird. Today, I had to have Deb help me with it. It was set on private, and I didn't know it. I'm like, why is my phone not ringing? I'll get a text message. Usually it goes ding. I go, no ding. I look at my volume. I got the bell on. I don't have the ringer off. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand these symbol. Look at this guy. These emojis or these symbology. Give it to me in plain old English. On, off. It's not rocket science. But when they play guessing games and they want me to buy their product and I can't get instructions, and in the middle of something they decide to change their format. Oh, we forgot to tell you. Here's your product. You know where you can stick it. Take it back. I don't want it. It's aggravation. Aggravation. I mean, it is a catch-22. I like the fact that we could do all this and connect with people. So there's an old saying: if something's not broke, don't fix it, right? Or if you want to improve on it, do it where it's a complete improvement. In other words, you're engineering something, you're inventing something, you're building something. Before you release it to the public, make sure it's completely built. And then if there's issues, you could say this, that, and the other, and here's text service, and here's the instructions, and guess what? All these knobs, this is exactly what each knob does, and then if you need to see, it's clear information. See, Joe, you drive, right? We got a driving job. Could you imagine when you go to take your CDL license, it was just like when you buy some of this new product? Well, I don't know. Google it. I don't know. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. What happens when you go from second gear all the way to eighth gear? I don't know. Let's try it. That's not clear instructions. That is not clear instructions. So the morons that come up with this, don't you think maybe that at some point they should say, you know what, maybe we should kind of like understand that there's different people in the world, and maybe they don't understand these terminologies. So what about them? We want their business, right? You see, here's what's great about being this age, guys. We were born before all this crap, and if this crap goes away, we'll say, well, it was fun, we had it, we'll stay in touch with our friends, but we don't miss the aggravation. So it won't take long for us to go back into our 1970s ways and enjoying life. You know what I mean? On, off, volume up, down, simple. so we can enjoy life. Maybe I look at things a different way. I don't know. Yeah, he will catch up. I will. Yeah, guys, I'll catch up with you. Yeah. Uh, yeah, yeah. We'll see. We're down here. That'd be Hey Rock and Dave. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Yeah, down here we got different Ocean, Yellow Ocean's original sounds. What's happening? Songs. What's happening, brother? You know, I'm glad that. Sorry, guys. You see what happens when the screen does disappear? Now it's working. See, now it works. Who knows? Maybe at 3 o'clock it won't work, and then 3:05 it might work, and then 3:08. Weird. It's just weird, incomplete. You know, I probably would make some one hell of good friendships with some of these people, these engineers. Maybe in their minds I'd be entertaining. Who knows? I gotta show you this. See, this is what these cats do. These little kitties. Look at this. She's airing out down there. Just lays there and airs out. I tell you what, man. We don't have any rodents in this house now. Back in the I think it was the late 70s, 1970s. We were living in Chicago, and our cousins and aunts now were living in Mount Prospect, Illinois, suburb of Chicago. And my cousin had a snake, pet snake. And I guess he let it out at night, slither around the house to catch all the mice. Well, my aunt one day ran into it or saw it in the house, and she screamed. So my cousin had to get rid of the snake. If I remember the story, yeah, Ed B, I don't gig says, you know what? Here's the reality. It's fun gigging. I love it. Because that's what I did a lot as younger. But it does have its drawbacks. This right here, these platforms, what is so cool about it is you will reach more worldwide, audience by doing this as opposed to gigging. Okay? What is nice with this, and this is kind of, if you think about it, kind of goes back to the old Les Paul, Mary Ford days when they would do their show. I guess they did it in the studio and then in their basement, and because Les Paul was also an inventor. So that whole idea kind of comes from him. What's really cool about it is you don't have to drag gear out. You don't have to, get it exposed. Now, you could still get Patreon pay. I don't know how all that works. The difference is when we get paid, boom, it's right there. And I don't need, and I'm not knocking this, okay? But I don't have to wait till I get, 4.8 gazillion views to, I don't know, make $2. I could have two people out there watching me and kind of paying attention and still walk away with maybe 10, $20 tips plus what I get paid, And then on a good day, obviously it's more, and it's boom, cash right there. Or if we get the check, it's, in our company name, and then we just deposit it, And I'm not knocking it. It's just, it's what you want. It really does come down to it. Is really what you want, And that's what I mean. When I titled this, and actually when I put up the post, I did take a picture. And when I took a picture of these two side by side, it was upright. When I go to post it, it comes out like that. So I did everything possible, and it was still, no matter what I did, I stood in my head, the same thing, no matter what I did. You see, that's why this technology, to me, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, period. Sometimes, I don't want to hear something. I want to hear yes or no, period. That's it. I get the job done, in and out, on to the next, So that's why there was no picture. Now, what I was mentioning about what Old Man Dan had said, and I've heard this terminology used a lot, and, influencers, okay, if you really think about it, we kind of influence everybody on a daily basis. Doesn't matter if you're playing guitar, or it doesn't matter. It's just in a workplace, you could be influenced. But I understand what Old Man Dan was saying. I started thinking about this because I saw some of the, same kind of videos, and um, I'm not trying to say anything bad about those people, but if a person has to constantly say that they're influencing, if they're always got to say that, chances are they're more of a persuader than an influencer. You know, sales. I know, right? Look at this. Look at this. There she goes, stretching. Look at that. Okay, and there's nothing wrong if you want to be a persuader. You're working in sales, or you're trying to help a product. Maybe, this is what I start to see with some of this. Is that some of these people, they get into doing YouTube, and then their thing is, okay, they may never want to go out and play or do whatever, but they like the piece of gear they buy, and they get experience using it, so they're gonna share it with everybody. And that's very I do appreciate that, because it does help. Um, I think at this point the only person that I do watch that does any type of gear review is Robert's Guitar Dungeon, and that's when I can. Um, I don't jump on every gear review. When in the beginning I thought it was, but what I started noticing? It doesn't matter who it is, and it's not to say anything bad about any of these people. They're not doing what I'm doing, and the end result is I still have to see what it's gonna do to what I do, how it's gonna sound, how it's gonna react to how I play. So again, you still gotta go to the music store. Okay, I'm gonna plug it in and I'm gonna test it to what I play, because I'm the one that's gonna be doing it. It starts to get to a point where it could almost look like it could be taken the wrong way, and it could be taken in a way that you have to listen to some of these people, or it's a good idea because you see, they're within the in crowd, or they're going to be at this trade show or that trade show or NAMM or this guitar show, whatever. You got to always remember, and people who have been to, let's say, NAMM, okay, great experience. Uh, could be great experience, and it could be not a great experience. It depends what you're looking for. If you want to smooth up and get in with the in crowd, fine. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, those people got to help themselves before they can help you. Because you see, what I've noticed that no one really talks too much about is once you get to a certain plateau, right? You got to stay on that plateau, right? Let's say if you reach the top of the top, now you got to always be on, and so you could stay there if that's what you want. It is not like, oh, I've made it, now I can kick back and relax. It isn't like that. It's go, 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 go. And there are some of these people, and I mean, I'm just going to be straightforward and just speculate. I could be wrong, but some of these people that we look up to, and think that, wow, how great it would be to be able to do this, how great we'll be able to do that. Let's say you're a truck driver like Joe Wentz, and let's say you're over the road. Chances are you're gonna be making more money than these so-called stars that are not don't have the ones that are not playing at, let's say, Super Bowl, right? But you still would like to get to that level. A lot of you are already at that level of guitar playing. You don't really realize it. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to learn to sweep 100 arpeggios, different arpeggios at 1,000 beats per minute to be good. You could be the type of person that knows how to make a note breathe, but when you're playing, you know how to draw in a crowd, or you always get this compliment, man, you play with passion, or I could hear this, that, and then it's like you make the instrument come alive. That's being just as good as some of these stars. They're good at what they do. They just happen to be a little bit more famous. That's the only thing. I remember a friend of mine told me, Dave, the only difference between you and say someone like Joe Satriani or Steve I, they're more name recognition. And I said, well, I appreciate that. I says, but you know, they're really good at the legato playing and the sweeping. And if we were to sit in a room together, I got more of the alternating picking and the flamenco style and that, you know. And then of course they got their star stairs. Now I'll definitely respect them for their achievements, but when you sit in a room with some of these people and you give it an hour where it's you one on one, let's say you're taking lessons from some of these people, and you already got your technique pretty efficient, it is not going to take long for them, the ones who are really honest, who know what it takes to jump these hurdles. It is not going to take long for them to look at you and watch you and play and watch and for them to say to you, you know, maybe you don't do this, but what you got there, I could tell you got it nailed. Period. Period. Technique is technique. Intellect is intellect. Fame has nothing to do with that because it comes down to the skill level. You know what I mean? So that, in a way, is an influence. And what I mean by that, you could, like I said, play one note, two notes, but when you play it, it's just, man, they're so musical. They draw you in. They draw you in. I could sit there and I could just be mesmerized because you're making the instrument talk. That is more of an influence than someone that's constantly got to remind you that they're trying to influence you, you know? What I do, if it influences and it inspires people, that's great. I feel that much better about it. If not, hey, that's fine. Is it for that person? You know? And when old man Danny made that comment about you really do got to think for yourself, he's 100% spot on. You really do. And of course, a lot of you guys and gals out there, you know that. But it's real. I don't want to say. Oh, I guess maybe I should. It's just can be kind of sad when people get so hung up on wait, they're an influencer. They got this and that. Life seems to be always good for them. They never lose. They get invited to all this, that, and the other. You don't know the back end. It's when you spend time with these people, then you can start to see, oh, at my day gig, I'm making more money than what they're doing. Maybe, maybe I'm in a better place than I realize I am. And I can still show those people the respect that they deserve. But maybe now I feel that much better that I didn't do something foolish like leave my job or leave a solid source of income or cut off, multiple sources of income that you can handle. Didn't cut off that because now I got this bright idea. I'm going to go and do this. And then I find out, and this is really kind of, I'm disappointed in, is you take some of that advice, but they're not 100% forthcoming on information that you really should. Now maybe they do when you reach out and you email and says, hey, so and so, I'm thinking about doing this and here's my situation, what do you think? Then maybe on private, and if they do, hey, that's great. That is great. It really should. They really should. But see, a lot of people don't know about reaching out, or they do, maybe they just feel a little bit shy about it. So then they figure, they'll listen to all these videos and all this advice. Yeah, go ahead and do it, man. If your back's against the wall, then you got no other way but up. How many people are on Skid Row that their backs were against the wall? And they tried very hard because they had no other way but up. But unfortunately, they weren't able to go up. You don't really hear that side. And I really think, it's too bad those people are not able to make a video. And some people might say, well, why should I listen to them? They're losers or this, that, and the other. Not everybody that's on Skid Row is like that. There's a lot of people that, are very intelligent, very street smart. Some of them have college degrees, very savvy. Maybe they made mistakes in life. Okay, that's fine. And they caused their own, calamity there. But putting that aside, what about those other ones that did everything right to the letter? You know, things didn't go their way. So that's what you got to really look at. You got to keep that in mind. So when it comes to the debate of, you know, these people that claim that they're influencers, they kind of, in my opinion, a lot of them are more on the persuaders side, you know, because if they gotta constantly remind you this product does this, that, and, you know, that, then it's almost like they're representing that product, you know, and of course they do what they want. That's their business, and everybody's else's business to do what they want. It's their money, you know. Dave Simpson had a good video a couple of days ago, whatever. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't have time. Um, but he was making a statement of why he does not do a bad review or say something negative, a negative review. And he used the example of the Marshall Code amp. He doesn't like that amp. That he said that was the only amp he had to send it. He took it back. He had to send back. Didn't like it. But he did not go on a bass fest because he did say in his previous video, he says, what doesn't work for me might work for you. So why should I just, you know, say, oh, this is junk? And I've seen videos where people saying, this is junk, that's junk. You know, a lot of people would rip down the old Line 6 amps. The only thing I had an issue, and maybe it was with just the one, the volume knob, when you go to turn it, it would spike real loud or go real low. But then maybe it was just that one amplifier. You know, the other ones I played seemed to be okay. Not every sound in it was something that I would use, but some of it I found useful. But I am not going to get on, you know, this platform and say, that's junk. No guitar player in their right mind should use it. Certainly, you can't tour. It's always you go to tour, right? You can't tour with that Line 6 and a Squire Telly or a Squire Strat or, you know, whatever. You can't do that. See, that's all this misinformation. Maybe they can't. But in the hands of someone who knows how to use this stuff, and let's say that's all they could afford, it's going to be very embarrassing when you see these people. Let's say they get in a band and they put their money together, and it's always a buy-on tour. That's another thing. A lot of these are buy-on tours. Not all of them, but there's a lot of them. So be prepared for that. I wish they'd be forthcoming with that. How do I know? A friend of mine had, a couple of friends of mine jumped on that bandwagon. Plus, we would get some of those offers. And Deb, that's when she started doing the research. How much do I have to spend? And, you know, to be fair, it helps the whole organization. So to share in the expenses, you could share in the profits. Okay, I get it. But it's some of these types of people that will tell you, you can't tour. Now, if they were to say, I wouldn't tour with it, totally different. Because they are excluding themselves, but maybe you could work with it. You see what I mean? I remember this was when we were still in the Chicagoland area. The Chicago Loop, FM 9, used to be FM 98, then it turned into FM 97.9. It was a local rock station. They would have Loop Fest in the suburb called Tinley Park at the outdoor arena. It got so many names. It got changed. We used to see the Ozfest concerts there. The names would change, like, you know, every other year. It was it was called something else. But anyways, we're at Loop Fest, and I think it was the band Winger. Can't really remember. I'm looking at the guitar player. I'm looking at where he's plugged into, because I made little mental notes following all this. He's plugged into, here's a drummer, here's a bass player, here's a singer. He's plugged into a crate, I think it was a Blue Voodoo, not a half stack, 212 model. And there's the microphone right in front of it. Hear him everywhere. Now, if he had something on the back end, behind stage, okay, that could be. But I don't think a whole lot, because they had to tear down and another band had to set up. And you know, when you start to gig, you start to see what goes on backstage, and you know the whole process. I gotta hurry up, so the less gear I bring, the quicker it is gonna be for me to tear down and get out of the way, because now next act is going up and playing. But my point is that, you know, not one person said, he can't go out there with a crate. That's not supposed to sound, you see what I mean? This whole perception of a brand name or the price ticket on. Now, I again, you're saying you pay for what you get. Yes, it is true, but there's also the saying, be careful, you're paying for the name, not really for the quality of the product. It's just the name. That's also true too. You know, and you really won't know until you actually are in that situation with what you do. That's going to tell all right there. That'll always tell all. That'll always bust through every myth that is getting, coming up on YouTube or social media or this platform and this group and whatever. That guitar community and the pedal community, whatever. Because the person that goes out there and actually does time and time and time and time again, 3 and 4 hours, whether you like what they're doing or whether you don't like what you're doing, their actions are going to speak so much louder than the words. There is your proof right there. Right there is the proof. I don't like the way he plays. I don't like the way he sounds. Okay, fine. But look, he keeps doing with the same gear. It does, it gets the job done. Kind of tells you something there. And I don't say that, to, what do you call, stir up the pot, I don't care about stirring up the pot. This is what I do, and if people like it, fine. If it can help a person, that really, to me, that's more valuable, or it's just as valuable because it could help a person. Because the hardest thing to see is people blow through their savings and blow through all this money because they want to do something you're doing, and it doesn't work out for them. It's heartbreaking, and I've seen it done. So, every piece of gear that you see out there, if it was as bad as these people claim it was, where it was garbage, no good, doesn't really work, if every piece of gear was that, they wouldn't be in business. Somebody's buying this stuff. You know what I mean? And the only way you're going to find out if you could tour with it, you want to find out if you could tour with it without touring, without spending money, buying on, they'll put you on, like a 3-day festival, right? They'll put you on a Sunday at like maybe a time where nobody's at the park. No one's there. Because everyone's all drunk. They're passed out, Then I could go there Sunday to see the main act. You blow through all this money just to get a shot, and they give you like maybe 20 minutes. I mean, it's just ridiculous. There are some good people out there, and then you get the people that are, you could tell just by talking with them. Like, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. Why should I spend this money on this? Well, you don't know. Someone could discover you. I could get more discovery on YouTube or other social media platforms than at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and I might get lucky, but chances are, all my friends that like to party, I don't know, Sunday comes after Saturday. What were they doing Saturday night? Dude, I would have got this is what you run into, on the next weekend when you see your friends. Sorry, dude, I didn't make it, man, but I was partying, I got all drunk, and I was with this girl, or if the girl's with some guy, whatever, and I didn't get to sleep till like 5:30 in the morning. I'm sorry, man. Maybe next time. See, it's always maybe next time. That's the reality. That's one of the realities. I'm saying it's always, but that's one of them. You got to take that in consideration. So, getting back to the influencer versus the persuader. The persuader is always going to try to sell you something. Watch very carefully what they say. It always sounds like, geez, maybe I ought to buy this because now they're talking about, look how many other people that come on the live stream. Oh yeah, I get this, that. Hey, what's happening? Nothing wrong with it, but it almost could almost make a person feel like if they want to be in with the in crowd, maybe it's a good idea that they drop this amount of whatever, and then they do, and then deep down they get buyer's remorse, and they still didn't make any new friends. But they spent that money, and I'm not trying to knock it. Okay, people do what they want. I'm just saying there is that other reality that very strongly exists. So if someone were to ask me personally, Dave, this guy says he does this. No, if you want to take his advice, go. You could do it. But really ask yourself honestly, could you afford to lose that money? Could you really afford to buy that? If not, buy something you could afford that you equally like. Or you save up your money, and then let's say you can't afford to buy the latest and greatest until, I don't know, maybe two years down the road, because people got bills they gotta pay. When you're coming up and selling this products that's selling for like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, not everybody has that. And if they want to buy that, it might take them a couple of years because they got bills to pay. So then maybe 3 years after the product comes out, they buy it, they do a review, and then someone says, that's old. It's almost like it makes a person feel like no matter what they do, they're still not good enough to fit in or whatever. And I really don't like that. To me, a person is a person. If they're good, they're good, right? You know, it don't matter what they have, it don't matter what they play. That's their business. So I just thought it was a really interesting video that Old Man Dan put up, and I agree. Think for yourself. You know, now for those people that want to call themselves influencers and that, I hope it works out for them. But a lot of those people, man, I haven't watched those, and I'm not going to mention names. I wish them well. I really do. And one thing is because I got very busy. That's the only reason why I'm not. Other than I'm doing a live stream, but not on everybody's channel like I used to because I really got busy. And there's only 24 hours in a day. Um, but some of those so-called other channels that are supposed to be, the biggest and best, this, that, and the other, I wish them well, but I can't take their advice. They're in the basement or in the room, man. I mean, what I do is so different than what they're doing. I could ask them a question. Well, and I could tell as soon as I see I don't know. Well, there it is. You don't know. And I'm not saying that they're not entitled to their opinion. And constructive criticism, yeah, that does help us because they might see a point of view that we don't at that moment. But it's when they go on this, you can't this and you can't that, and this is, what they'll call this little squire? Entry level. But you know what this is also good for? You know what entry level products are really good for? When you are playing in an environment that is the weather is really bad on expensive equipment. It could destroy it. It could equally destroy something inexpensive. So, or it could work out pretty good, and you won't feel so bad if it gets dinged here or there. You won't feel as bad. And if something happens, this was under $200. This is a lot easier to replace than $2,000. You know. But see, for some people, $200 is a lot of money. Does that mean they're a bad person? Does that mean they're a bad musician? Does that mean they don't count? This is what I mean. What these platforms have done for some people, and I can't blame the platform. It's the person that put themselves in that situation. They let it run wild in their brains. Um, they got for the first time in their life a little bit of recognition, and they ran wild with it. And I'm not saying everybody, and we all make mistakes. We're all human, so we all got a shot at redemption. But what I'm saying is that some of them they really should, in my opinion, kind of like evaluate, like myself. Other times I look at some of the videos like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have said that, and I apologize. But I'm not gonna get on a platform or make a bunch of videos and start to dictate to people what I think they should and shouldn't do. I hope that's not what it sounds like. I can only share my experiences, and maybe if a person tries to take the path that I'm taking, maybe those experiences won't even happen to them. But it's kind of good that you see that so you're aware of the playing field, you know? I don't know. But, anyways, guys, you know, my advice is always do what works for you. And if it doesn't work, you could always try something else, you know? But as far as these products, it so far it's been working out for us so far. When we have major issues, we'll let you know. But you got to make sure you don't have anything blocking the transmitter and the receiver, because I think you could get issues there. And as time goes on using it, I'll let you know. So far, I get a 3 hour performance out of it without the batteries wearing out. So that seems to be, you know, pretty solid. I think their claim is you could get 5 hours, but honestly, with a consistent use, it might start a little after 3 hours. It might start to little drain just a little bit, and then as you get in closer to that 5th hour, obviously, that's when you're gonna really notice that battery life is going. So, anyways, my friends, I hope this was helpful and enjoyable and entertaining. And we are playing Friday. We are scheduled to play Friday, but they might say we might have some serious storms, so we really don't know. We'll keep everyone posted on that. If we do, we'll post it up. Anyways, my friends, until then, you guys stay safe, strong, and true. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Rock on, and God bless. Have a great day. Thank you.